Howdy everyone, Potter here with an Age of Magic video, and in today's video we're going to cover the stats for the second lot of medallions to come around. There's a few ones in there that may be useful to you, so let's go over it. Starting with Rhiannon. Now I forgot to put Rhiannon in the last video. Her medallion was available. I forgot, I apologize, but if you did get it, this is what I believe you should be focusing on. Attack damage number 1. Now Rhiannon is capable of doing a lot of damage. Her damage comes through exploding dots on the enemy though, and that damage is also affected by her attack damage, so that is priority. Other than that, you want her to be tanky, hit points damage reduction, physical, magical damage reduction as well. She's not normally targeted by the enemy. They will always go after the healer first and then work their way down. The bosses are normally the last characters alive on the team in most situations, so in that sense, I would leave her as just a tanky unit with the potential to do a lot of damage. She only has one damaging ability, but she has the ability to put a lot of dots on the enemy, and dots again are affected by attack damage. Coming up next, we have Gerda. Now Gerda is attack damage. Each turn she will deal damage to all of the enemies. That is based off her attack damage, and then just build her as a tank. Hit points damage reduction and health steal. Health steal I put in there because of the fact that she does deal damage at the start of every turn she has, so there's the potential for her to heal a lot of HP. Other than that, tanky, and it is a theme amongst the Van Norse that they are tanky, because if you are using Starvold as a leader, there is the chance that they are going to take a lot of damage, so just build them tanky. But yeah, attack damage for Gerda with a bit of tank on the side. Grotto, just pure tank. He feels like, I'm not saying he actually is, but he definitely feels like one of the squishiest tanks in the game. Mixed with the Starvold veneer mark he puts on his characters, there is the chance that he's going to take more damage from the enemy, and when he uses one of his abilities, he will be the only target for the enemy. So he's going to take a lot of damage, he's going to take a lot of damage quickly, and there's the chance he's going to be taking extra damage. So just tanky, taking hit points, damage reduction, magic damage reduction, physical damage reduction. You want this character lasting as long as possible. Though his role through his abilities isn't super important for the Van Norse, he doesn't actually offer a huge amount. He's able to hide enemies, he is able to heal a little bit, but when you go over his kit, he actually isn't significant at all. However, it is the interaction between him and Raymond that is really good, because Grotto's absorption ability applies shielding per buff or debuff absorbed through magic absorption. So mix that with Raymond, and you find that there is a lot of shield being generated through this hero, so that's where the Grotto importance comes in. Though his kit seems somewhat underwhelming, his magic absorption effect is really good, and oftentimes you can find yourself with full bars of shield ready to go because of the magic absorb that Grotto offers. Up next we have Hae'lis. Now Hae'lis does healing through damage dealt, but her damage is actually quite low. Her basic and her third do damage and then healing. However, it's not super significant. I would still focus on just making this character as tanky as possible, just lasting as long as possible. Her main factors, what makes her really good, is that she prevents all resurrection from the enemy. That doesn't happen though if she is dead. So if you can keep her alive and prevent the enemy from resurrecting, that is far more valuable most of the time than healing. You think about versing a team with Ever on it, who can revive 3 heroes, well, herself and 2 others when she dies. Prevented, completely prevented. There's not many cases, but you consider Phoenix, resurrection completely voided. Resurrection negation is really powerful, and her second ability has the capacity or capability to remove debuffs from your characters. So even though Van Norse have super high magic absorb and there aren't going to be a lot of debuffs coming through, the ones that do slip through, she is able to cleanse them. So just make her tanky, keep her on the field, prevent those resurrections, keep cleansing any debuffs that get through, keeping your Van Norse as healthy as possible. Up next we have Starvold. Starvold, hit points, damage reduction, physical fortitude multiplier, magic fortitude multiplier. He's one of the few heroes I would suggest actually putting Fortitude Multiplier on. Number one, because he is a boss, like I mentioned before. He's not normally targeted. You still want him to be tanky. Again, what he offers for the team is more valuable than any damage he can do. But the damage he does do, the big damage he does do, comes from the interaction between him and Ulfren. When Ulfren applies the mark to the enemy, then Starvold can come around and break that mark, assuming his ability is awakened, and do, I believe it's 20% of current HP as damage. So it's a huge amount of damage. That's where the damage is coming from. But keep him alive, allowing him to allow his abilities to keep rolling through, and that's going to be the most important thing. That's the damage, the interaction through the mark through Ulfren and his, I want to say, third ability. That's going to be most important. But like most of the characters, and with the Van North specifically, bulk them up, keep them alive. They'll do the best through that strategy. We have Ulfren finally. Now, hit points at the very bottom, though he does suffer from the same thing all other Van Norths suffer, is that the Starvold can allow him to take a lot of damage. You'll find in Nightmare Raids specifically, if you are still using the Van Norths, I highly recommend not doing that. The Blade Assassins team is superior in that section of the raid, but if you are using the Van Norths, you do find that Ulfren can just sometimes disappear from the field. That is to do with the Starvold interaction and the debuff he can apply. Well, it's not a debuff, it's one of the marks he can put on his own team that allows his allies to take more damage but deal more damage. Ulfren can often disappear. So I would recommend hit points, but other than that, just pure attack damage or damage. Attack damage, critical damage, chance multiplier, critical damage. He is I think one of the best damage dealers through AoE abilities anyway in the game, especially with the right setup. So bulk this character up with damage, put a bit of health into him. Hope he survives, get that 1, 2, third turn, or if you skip the first ability, you can go third and then fourth special and get that AoE out and absolutely rip through the enemy. And that is the second lot of medallions to come around. They are focusing on the Vans. So the Vans have lost a little bit of power within Nightmare Raid simply because of the Assassins. With Clan Wars coming around the corner, there will still be a pretty decent squad to be placing down on both defense and using on offense. They are not redundant. They're not a old team. They still serve their purpose against some of the meta squads. Just keep that in mind. I am seeing posts of them doing quite well against the Goose. Now, mind you, that's Goose in the arena setting. Chaos Spawn. Keep in mind, these are the empowered Chaos Spawn. The Van Norths apparently are doing good against the empowered Chaos Spawn. What I mean by this is that Chaos Spawn are stronger in arena and tournament due to their awakenings. They get certain buffs within those game modes. In Clan Wars, however, the Chaos Spawn are not going to have those additional strengths. Though it's a PvP-based game mode, their skills do not state that they get their strengths in those game modes. So keep that in mind. The Van Norths may be a very effective squad to use against the Chaos Spawn in the upcoming Clan Wars. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I will answer it to the best of my ability. And wherever you're around the world, until next time, please take care of yourself.